Hey guys, Marcus Melnick here with Firearm Mentor. Hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These little things are free to you and really help the channel. I appreciate your support. Enjoy. Thank you.
The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Greetings and welcome back to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor and Stress to Logic, your host. And before the break, we were talking about how the NSSF, or the National Shooting Sports Foundation, may have allegedly shared information with government agencies. So I'm going to continue along that trope. In 2016, as part of a push to get Donald Trump elected president for the first time, and to help Republicans keep the Senate, the NSSF worked with the consultancy Cambridge Analytica to turbocharge the information it had on potential voters. Cambridge matched up the people in the database with 5,000 additional facts about them that it drew from other sources. The details were far-ranging, along with the potential voters' income, debts, and religious affiliation. Analysts learned whether they liked the work of the painter of Thomas Kincaid and whether that underwear women had purchased was plus size or petite. ProPublica obtained a portion of the NSSF database that contains the names, addresses, and other information of thousands of people. ProPublica reached out to 6,000 people on that list. Almost all of those who responded, including gun owners, expressed outrage, surprise, or disappointment over learning they were in the database. In his letter seeking an investigation, Smith noted that the FBI's new director, Kash Patel, has spoken out in favor of protecting gun owners' privacy rights. Surely then, Smith wrote, the FBI understands the importance of ensuring no organization or government agency maintain a secret database of firearm customers and gun owners. As many high-profile hacks and data leaks have shown, private data can easily be mishandled and exploited for nefarious purposes. Smith, a 69-year-old retired executive of J.P. Morgan Bank and registered Republican, told ProPublica his love of guns started as a teen when his father bought him a Remington rifle for bird hunting. The passion intensified over the years, and Smith started collecting guns heavily in response to political efforts to restrict gun access. Now, I think that the article that I'm going over might have misquoted him because you don't use a rifle for bird hunting. But I'm guessing it was a long gun, and someone who wrote the article probably didn't know that. Smith said, anytime I heard Nancy Pelosi not like something, I felt like I had to have it. But he joined Giffords in 2020 after growing uncomfortable with extremism in gun rights circles. More recently, he said, the Department of Government Efficiency's attempt to grab large amounts of confidential citizen data from the Social Security Administration and IRS inspired his request for government action. DOJ officials did not respond to a request for comment. The initial disclosures about the National Shooting Sports Foundation was an alarm bell. But now this is a 4-alarm fire, Smith said. We're supposed to have some sort of privacy in our lives, and apparently the NSSF decided I didn't have to have it. And DOJ really thinks I'm not entitled to it. Obviously, there's a little bit of a political twist here in this article. I would not join this organization just because common sense gun laws is one of those things where it tries to get people, it's a lightning term or a buzzword. Oh, wow, yeah, of course we want common sense, of course. But the reality is, hey, look, common sense means let the people be responsible for their own stuff. You don't need to ban a Glock. You don't need to ban X, Y, and Z. You need to ban idiots. Okay, that was a joke, guys. But you need to, there's not a one-step approach to curbing gun violence. It is a multi-pronged approach with multiple different problems, including criminal minds, including psychiatric reasons, including emotional reasons, and these also need to be addressed, not just to ban Glocks because they can have a switch in them that makes them fully automatic. Speaking of Glock switches, during the break I did a little bit of research, and I found out that in Illinois, Glock switches, which are auto sears, have been increasingly linked to gun violence, especially in Chicago. Modified Glocks converted to fully automatic weapons using these switches have been recovered at crime scenes, raising concerns about their role in gun violence. The Chicago Police Department has recovered over 1,300 modified Glocks between 2021 and 2024. Now, as a criminal justice professional, I'm going to opine on this. They recovered 1,300 Glocks at the scene of crimes, but there's no statistics on how many Glocks were used in these crimes, or how many Glocks with the switches have been used in these crimes. I did a little bit of a deeper dive, and I found out that Glock switches aren't even made by Glock. Wow, that's interesting. These devices, and they are illegal under federal law, according to WGN, pose a significant public safety concern, and the problem doesn't appear to be going away anywhere anytime soon. There's an exponential increase in our machine gun conversion device recoveries, said Jeffrey Matthews, acting special agent of the BATF and in the Chicago Field Division. The percentage of these that are getting off the street are going up like this. It's going up 100%, and I don't see any end in sight, said Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart. At the end, what's done has just been made our streets more dangerous for everyone. Data shows spike in devices recovered locally, and in February, the ATF released a 700-page report, the first in 20 years, on gun crimes in the United States. It said the agency's number of illegal machine gun conversion devices recovered jumped 570% between 2017 and 2021 compared to the previous 5 years. But again, I cannot find information on if these guns were actually used in the crime or only recovered at the crime scene. There's a little bit of twist, so I would encourage everyone to put on their thinking caps, look at this from a critical eye, and say, ooh, let's not just believe everything we read or hear on the radio. I want you guys to fact check me. If you think I'll always, as much as I possibly can, humanly possible, I will tell you that I'm offering an opinion, not a fact. So I'm very, very cautious about that. A fact would be you treat every firearm as if it's loaded. An opinion is I wouldn't buy a Sky firearm. Big difference. I want my listeners to know that this is my dream, teaching people about safety. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for my listeners, I couldn't live my dream. So on behalf of my family and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to live my dream. And I also want to continue to live my dream, and I'm excited to continue to spread the word of safety. Recently, I began a new service as a conference keynote speaker. So if anyone would like for me to speak at future events, or if anyone knows of an introduction or would like to discuss how we can work with one another, I'd love to do just that. The keynote speaking website is www.stress2logic.com. That is STRESS2logic.com. If you're aware of any conference speaking engagements where you'd like to have me speak, I'd love an introduction. You can always share my electronic business card, which is Marcus Melnick, MarcusMelnick.com. Now, back to the show. Sorry, guys, needed to wet my whistle. I'm talking, and sometimes I just need to get a drink. So I threw in a commercial. I want to talk about a new fun out there. I mean, a new gun out there. Interesting how gun and fun rhyme. Mossberg releases the new 990 Aftershock semi-auto firearm. Now, we've all seen the shortened, I forgot what it's called, firearm that is basically, it's kind of like a pistol. It's an AOW, all other weapons, and Shockwave is what it's called. So the all-new 990 Aftershock is a 12-gauge, 3-inch, semi-auto version of this small in size but big on performance tactical firearm. I'm not sure if it would be legal in Illinois. I just don't know. Following up on unprecedented success of the Shockwave pump action, Mossberg is pleased to announce the all-new 990 Aftershock, a 12-gauge, 3-inch semi-auto version of this small in size but big on performance tactical firearm. This full-featured and easy-to-maneuver platform is available with a 14.75-inch or 18.5-inch barrel option and a 14.75-inch equipped with a Crimson Trace laser saddle. At the heart of the 990 Aftershock is a durable gas-operated system fully contained within the forend. Internal parts like the gas piston, magazine tube, hammer, and sear feature a nickel-boron coating and a special finish for enhanced corrosion resistance and smooth, reliable cycling. To further improve performance, the 990 has an enlarged and beveled loading port designed for ease of loading, elongated pinch-free elevator, and anodized bright orange follower. The oversized ergonomic top-mounted safety can easily be operated by a right or left-handed shooter and features a highly visible red indicator. Red is dead, meaning it's ready to shoot. Enhanced functionality continues with the knurled charging handle, oversized paddle bolt release, strapped forearm for a firm hold and to keep hands clear of the muzzle, and a M-LOK accessory adapter with mounting slots on the sides and bottom attached to the extended 5-shot magazine. The well-designed exterior of the 990 Aftershock epitomizes big tactical performance in a compact platform. The Aftershock black synthetic grip is uniquely shaped for an ergonomic, secure grip and features a rubberized palm pad to minimize felt recoil. A quick detachment cup is incorporated on the rear of the grip. The matching black synthetic forend is streamlined and has an attached embossed strap and wears Mossberg's signature texturing, all combined for a more positive hold. Completing the 990 is the choice of a 14.75 or 18.5-inch cylinder bore barrels equipped with high-quality LPA front fiber optic sight, 5+1 total capacity, with 2.75-inch shot shells and a matte blue metal finish. The smaller version, the 14.75-inch version, is also available with a Crimson Trace laser saddle, which attaches easily to the receiver. The laser is adjustable for windage and elevation, and the furniture provides multiple touchpad activation points. Mossberg continues to deliver innovation, reliability, and exceptional tactical performance with their lines of the 590A1/590 pump actions and 940 Pro Tactical semi-autos. Now joining the family is a new 990 Aftershock, a premium defensive tool in a small package. More information is available at mossberg.com. That is MOSSBERG.com. Check it out. I'm sure it'll be in some local gun shops in the near future. Long-term listeners of the show or concealed carry students know that I'm quite fond of the things that I learned from David Yamane. He is a professor with Wake Forest University, and his claim to fame is that he is a liberal gun owner. And if you see his Facebook post, he certainly is liberal, but he scientifically or social scientifically studies gun ownership and has come up with a ton of conclusions. He has an online course called the 10 Essential Observations of Gun Ownership in America. And he also has a book, which is a very good read. So he recently published an article called Guns in America, a liberal gun-owning sociologist offers 5 observations to understand America's culture of firearms. And here's what he said. An Asian American and lifelong liberal from the San Francisco Bay Area, I became a first-time gun owner as a 42-year-old in 2011. I began a now 14-year journey into an unfamiliar and complex world of firearms. In my work, I draw on both my personal experiences and sociological observations to understand the long-standing presence of a robust gun culture in America. In contrast to the dominant scholarly approaches, which focus on gun deviance and harm, I find that there is more to firearms than criminal violence, injury, and death, more to gun owners than straight white men, and more to gun culture than a democracy-destroying right-wing politics. I'm using his words. Let me share the 5 observations essential to understanding guns in America. First of all, guns are normal. About 86 million Americans, or 1 in 3, own at least one of the estimated 400 million firearms in the U.S. today. Imagine if everyone who uses TikTok in the U.S. owned a gun, then add the population of New York City. That's enough gun owners to fill over 1,000 NFL stadiums. Humans have used projectile weapons like rocks and spears from the beginning. This unbroken history continues in every society, with firearms as the weapon of choice in all but the most isolated communities. People who could legally own guns in colonial America commonly did so. Even today, civilian firearms ownership remains exceptionally high in the U.S. when compared with other industrialized nations. The rights of everyday Americans to own guns is a deep part of American culture, enshrined in the U.S. Constitution and many state constitutions. His next point is the culture of guns in the U.S. has evolved over time. Before the mid-1800s, people primarily used firearms for practical purposes: hunting, defense from and offense against indigenous populations, controlling enslaved people, expanding territory, and fighting against oppressive rulers. Starting in the mid-1800s, Americans developed a more complex gun culture that included recreational hunting, organized target shooting, and gun collecting. These elements continue today, but in a shift, Americans increasingly own guns for self-defense. Evidence for the evolution to what he calls gun culture 2.0 appears in 3 key areas. First of all, surveys about why people own guns, the loosening of gun-carrying laws beginning in the 1980s, and changes in both the types of firearms sold and how companies market them, especially towards small, concealable pistols. Now, interesting how he says loosening of gun-carrying laws beginning in the 1980s. What he's referring to, I believe, is the concealed carry momentum that traveled throughout the United States. Illinois was the last state to have a concealed carry law enacted. However, I don't necessarily agree with him that there has been loosening of gun laws since the 1980s. You've got the Federal Firearms Act of 1986 that banned machine guns being imported into the country. Illinois has a plethora of laws that have been enacted time over time over time. Enacted, challenged, some of them were struck down, some of them weren't. So there's still a lot of movement, and it's not really a loosening gun control culture. His next point says gun ownership is diverse. Black Americans have a particularly strong tradition of gun ownership dating at least to the 19th century abolitionist movement. Today, 1 in 4 black Americans, as well as 1 in 5 Latinos, and 1 in 4 women personally own a gun. 20% of gun owners consider themselves politically liberal. For every 4 evangelical Protestants who own handguns, 3 people who don't identify with any religion own them too. Scholars are even beginning to discover the importance of LGBTQ plus gun owners. Gun culture 2.0 is more diverse and inclusive than the United States historical gun culture became. Security is a universal human concern. The response to feelings of insecurity varies. Portfolios of protective measures in the U.S. include home security systems, dogs, the hyperlogical social networking device next door, gated communities, and firearms. Point number 4 is guns are lethal tools. Many tools like knives and chainsaws are lethal, meaning they have the capacity to cause death. Guns differ because their lethality is by design. Consequently, guns can make dangerous situations more deadly. Despite their ubiquity and deadly potential, accidental firearm deaths are relatively rare and declining in the U.S., numbering fewer than 500 annually in recent years. Most gun deaths are intentional, with suicides accounting for 58% and homicides for 38% of 46,728 gun deaths in 2023. While the U.S. has a moderate overall suicide rate compared with other developed countries, it has a firearm suicide rate that substantially exceeds these other nations. This is because firearms are widely available and highly lethal. When people attempt suicide using guns, they die in up to 90% of cases. Similarly, although the U.S. is not exceedingly violent or criminal compared with peer nations, its criminal violence is more deadly because these lethal tools are more frequently involved. His last point is that guns are paradoxical. Despite high rates of firearm suicide and homicide, most guns in the U.S. will not kill anyone. I would argue no guns in the United States kill anyone. It's the person behind the trigger. And most American owners will not commit violence against themselves or others. This professor's calculations based on the 2023 Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data, which indicates that just 1 death occurred per 8,560 firearms and 1,840 gun owners, meaning at least 99.9% of guns and 99.95% of gun owners were not directly involved in fatalities this year. These observations collectively point to final insight: guns resist simple categorization and embody multiple paradoxes. To different people, they are fun and frightening, dangerous and protective, diffuse and concentrated, unifying and divisive, attractive and repulsive, interesting and controversial, useful and useless, good and bad, and neither good nor bad. That is to say, guns are not inherently anything. They take on different meanings according to the various purposes to which people put them to. A realistic view requires maintaining a clear-eyed understanding of the lethal capabilities of firearms. But the tendency to focus exclusively on firearms-related harms, while understandable, becomes a problem, in his view, when it fails to acknowledge the normality of guns and the diversity of gun owners. So there you have it. This is a scientific or social scientific viewpoint of firearms. I really wish he had more of a national stage with non-gun owners. There are gun owners who certainly subscribe to him. He goes to the NRA conventions, he goes to the other conventions, and he's been on the radio show. So if you look back, you can hear about his interview. I also spoke about his free online class, which is available at YouTube. It's quite educational, where he talks about the 10 essential observations. What I just discussed was 5 essential observations, but he has a total of 10. His book is called Gun Curious, and it's available on Amazon. I'll have a link in the YouTube little blurb section, so if you're interested in getting that book. I read it. It's a decent book. And I'm a book snob, so I don't really enjoy a lot of books that I read unless they're really, really, really good. And every once in a while, I hit upon something that's really, really, really good. And this book, Gun Culture 2.0, is one of those books. So coming up, we've got iGold, Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day. You can go to the Illinois State Rifle Association website, or ISRA.org, to find out more about it. Also, my May class is full. So my next open concealed carry class is going to be June 21st and 22nd in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I hope to see you there, whether you need an initial certification, whether you need a recertification. You can sign up at firearmmentor.com/classes. This morning, the day of the recording, I actually had breakfast with Northbrook Chamber, and I had someone who had not gone shooting told me I went shooting, and he was just very surprised at the amount of recoil. Well, of course he was. He shot a .45 and a .357 Magnum in his snub nose. So he was asking if he could go shooting with me, and I was like, well, what did you shoot before? Because I didn't want to repeat that experience. And he showed me, he looked on his phone. Not a gun guy, but that's cool. And I was like, oh, no wonder you had a lot of recoil. So he's interested in going to the range. And I also have two new announcements. One of them is, if you like Westerns, I have a private lesson package that allows you to shoot the guns of the Wild West. That includes a single-action revolver, a lever-action rifle, and a double-barrel coach shotgun, which is what they used to use on the stagecoaches. Also, the other thing that I offer is there is a free cleaning lesson waiting for you. All you need to do is sign up for 2 private lessons or 1 concealed carry class, and I would love to work with you. Or tune in next week. I'd love to talk more about guns with you. Thank you. We have monthly concealed carry license CCL classes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates can be seen at firearmmentor.com/classes. If you have a question, we can be reached at www.firearmmentorcard.com. That is our electronic business card, has all of our contact information and links in it. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the shooting range. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor signing off. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.